organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, how Governor Terry Branstad may have played a role in some big developments in the Republican presidential race.
Plus, a very special visitor came to Iowa City today to promote President Obama's re-election campaign. We'll tell you who in just a bit.
And in sports, more Big Ten ballers announce whether they're staying in school or going pro. We'll have the up-to-date list of who Iowa still has to scout next season.
That's all coming your way next.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for tuning in to your Tuesday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Josh Bolander.
And I'm Tasha Woods. Governor Terry Branstad has endorsed Mitt Romney for the presidential Republican nomination. At a press conference Tuesday, Branstad said it's time for all Republicans to rally behind Romney and focus on beating President Obama in the upcoming election. And Romney is a virtual lock to win the nomination after Rick Santorum announced Tuesday that he is suspending his campaign. Santorum was Romney's biggest competition, with Newt Gingrich and Ron Paul still in the race, but trailing Romney behind with a very large margin in the delegate count.
Tuesday, the Iowa House passed a bill that prohibits Iowa schools from starting before the fourth Monday in August. The current law says schools can't start before September 1st, but schools can apply for waivers to opt out. The bill still needs to pass the Senate, but opponents say start dates should be left up to local communities, while supporters say it's important for farmers that summers stay open.
And President Obama's Youth Summit tour stopped in Iowa City today. The president himself is not on the road, but the college tour aims to promote issues that affect America's youth. For more, Daily Iowan TV's Jake Abrams caught up with a very special organizer to talk about the summit's potential impact.
All right, thanks guys. Yeah, I'm here with Kal Penn. You may recognize him from movies like Harold and Kumar or roles in House, but now he's hitting the road in support of what's called the Youth Summit. And can you just explain a little bit about what you're doing with the White House and the Obama administration and what these youth summits are all about?
Absolutely. So it's great to be back on campus. I was here in 2008 on caucus night here in Iowa City, and we're putting together a series of what are called Greater Together events. Like you said, they're youth summits all over the country, and they're essentially an opportunity for young people and the president's campaign to continue a dialogue that I think was started in 2008, continued once the president was inaugurated. And you know, youth issues don't often make it to the front page of a paper, so a lot of times it takes a little more effort to learn about something like Pell Grants or the American Opportunity Tax Credit, or how you're now covered under your parents' health insurance plan now that healthcare reform passed, or you know, how did our friends all come home from Iraq, who fought for that. So those are the types of issues that we're hoping to talk to with young folks.
Cool. Now you personally, you know, you've had a pretty successful career in the acting industry or in the film industry, and you've kind of shifted over to politics now. Was that a tough decision or something that was natural to you to do in your life, and how long do you think you'll remain in politics?
Sure. So that's a good question. You know, I didn't think I was going to get involved in politics before the Iowa caucuses, and I had a lot of friends that were, you know, overseas in Iraq or couldn't afford college, didn't have access to health care. And I thought, you know, here's a guy who's not taking federal lobbyist money and who's not going to be beholden to anybody other than young voters, or voters in particular. So I signed up to volunteer. Once he won, I had the honor of serving my country in the White House, working on youth issues. That lasted for about 2 years. When my 2-year term was up, you know, went back to some filmmaking, and now have the honor of helping out on the campaign.
To see the full interview, be sure to check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/thedailyiowan. Still to come on Daily Iowan TV, find out why emergency calls are on the rise in Iowa City.
And in sports, the Cedar Rapids Kernels baseball team has quite the Southern duo. We'll have the story of the pair's unique journey on the road to Iowa.
That's coming up in just a bit, but now it's time to check in with Christina Targos for your local forecast. Christina?
Thanks, Tasha. Wednesday is going to continue with this chilly streak we've been having the past few days,
At 9 a.m., it will be 37 degrees with plenty of sunshine. By noon, it should stay sunny and reach 49 degrees, and the temperatures will hold steady at 49 into the evening. As we check the 6-day forecast, it looks like the cool temps will continue. Wednesday will hit a high of 57 degrees with sunny skies. Thursday's high should be around 63, and Friday will cool off just a degree, but with a 50% chance of thunderstorms. Saturday and Sunday also have a 40% chance of scattered thunderstorms, with highs of 74 and 70. And Monday shows a 30% chance of isolated thunderstorms and a high of 63. So make sure you have your rain boots and umbrellas handy. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Christina. Emergency sirens are common in all cities, but more and more, the sounds of fire trucks and ambulances are filling the air here in Iowa City. Daily Iowan TV's Brad Maxwell tells us why the Iowa City Fire Department has had their hands full over the past several months.
Firefighters and large fire engines, both waiting patiently to spring into action at the first sound of an alarm. But as the alarm screams and the firemen gear up, their services may be needed for something other than a burning building.
You know, medical calls certainly have been increasing, and a lot of that's attributed probably in our ability to respond to those.
As the Iowa City community continues to grow, the Iowa City Fire Department is responding to an increasing number of medical-related calls. According to the Iowa City Fire Report, nearly 2,800 calls were placed for emergency medical services in 2011. In comparison, last year alone, firefighters responded to only 162 fire calls. Fire Chief Andy Roca suggests the demographics of Iowa City have played into the trends.
You know, an increase in population, people living longer, certainly the high mobility that we have in our community with the University of Iowa, and just that activity in general.
In October of last year, a brand new pumper truck was added to the fleet, as well as the official opening of Station 4. Roca suggests evaluating and adding these new components has improved medical response time.
So we always want to evaluate those components of our response time to try to improve that, to provide better services, frankly, throughout the community.
Regardless of the type of call firefighters are responding to, safety is the ultimate concern of the Iowa City Fire Department.
And every year, every step of the way, we're always looking to improve that service that we provide to the community.
Brad Maxwell, Daily Iowan TV.
The National Fire Protection Association says fire department EMS calls have increased by nearly 300% nationally since 1980.
An Iowa City man was charged with reckless use of fire after allegedly engulfing himself in a large ball of flame. Police say Daryl Gouldsby called 911 back in January to report that he had burned himself after using gasoline to try and destroy some paperwork he didn't want his wife to see. The fire made soot marks on the side of the house, and Gouldsby had to be hospitalized. He admitted his actions were, quote, stupid.
A little over a month ago, Iowa Senator Matt McCoy announced a Senate committee plan to approve a deal to build another nuclear power plant here in Iowa. Earlier today, I examined recent research and nuclear failures that show why another nuclear plant might not be the best move for the state. The 2012 political season will undoubtedly raise a number of issues that affect American citizens. Republican primaries will almost certainly see the party's frontrunners reach out to Americans to change the U.S.'s stance on various international, domestic, economic, and social issues. The same could be said for the Democratic incumbent in office, Barack Obama, who will most definitely do all he can to emphasize the progress the economy has made during his 4 years in office.
It got done. This is a big deal, and I want to thank members of Congress for listening to the voices of the American people. It is amazing what happens when Congress focuses on doing the right thing instead of just playing politics.
New energy alternatives are a hot-button issue as we head toward November, with the current administration and their competitors both submitting plans for a more sustainable future. However, the issue of nuclear power will almost certainly go unnoticed. I'm here to tell you, it shouldn't. Over the past week, nuclear power plants in Michigan and California have been shut down indefinitely due to maintenance and problems in their operation. Radioactive gas was leaked in both cases. And while investigators say there may not be immediate danger regarding residents, there is no way in determining how much gas was actually leaked. Sure, nuclear power seems like a solid idea. It generates money, something anyone in politics could point to on their resume. But are the potential benefits worth the potential problems? You be the judge. The Dwayne Arnold Center in Cedar Rapids is the only current nuclear plant in Iowa, with the proposal for a new plant currently delayed.
And now Daily Iowan TV's Alicia Denez is here for your look at Hawkeye sports.
Good news for the Hoosiers, bad news for the Hawks. Indiana basketball player Cody Zeller announced today that he will be returning for his sophomore season instead of entering the NBA draft. Zeller, as a freshman, led Indiana for scoring and rebounding. He was named Co-Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Teammate Christian Watford also decided to stay for his final season. This means Indiana will return its top 5 scorers. The Big Ten will return many other players who had the opportunity to join the draft this year. These players include Ohio State's Deshaun Thomas and Aaron Kraft. Also on the list is Michigan's point guard Trey Burke. The Big Ten can't keep them all, though. Those leaving us include Ohio State's Jared Sullinger and Illinois' Myers Leonard. The Big Ten Conference was known to be the best conference in the nation last season, and with many players returning, I bet it won't be any different this winter. Now just up I-380, the Cedar Rapids Kernels Minor League Baseball Club has a rare pair. The Angels Single-A affiliate has 2 first-round picks on its roster, and it isn't their first time together on the diamond. DITV Sports Director Ian Martin has the story about how 2 buddies from Georgia are trying to make it in the Midwest.
We played together when we were 14, 15, 16, 17, all the way up.
Despite being from Georgia towns more than 200 miles away, Caleb Cowherd and Chevy Clark know one another well. The two played together in the summers for the East Cobb Astros in a league equivalent to American Legion baseball. Then, during the 2010 MLB draft, the duo were taken 12 picks apart in the first round by the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
It was really cool. I remember calling him right after the draft.
Well, first thing we said was, "Are you going to sign?"
Good stuff. Should I sign?
It was like, yeah, we're going to sign.
Now, after the better part of 2 years spent at different minor league clubs, the Southern boys are reunited in Cedar Rapids, a much different, much more Midwestern town. But the two say where they play won't affect their play, especially because the Kernels' newest third baseman and center fielder know they're lucky to still have a piece of home with them.
I mean, that doesn't happen much. To get drafted by the same team in the same round, it doesn't happen much. And that was a big opportunity for us to just go through the system together.
As for the future of the pair, Kernels manager and former big leaguer Jamie Burke says he wouldn't be surprised if the pair are gone by the end of the season, called up to the higher levels together. Ian Martin, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
The dynamic duo are already making an impact for the Kernels, hitting over 300 combined and helping the team start 3-1. It looks like they're headed for a great season. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Alicia. And now let's go beyond Iowa and take a look at some of the top headlines from around the globe. Suicide bombing in Afghanistan today left at least 18 people dead and another 27 wounded. Many of those killed were police officers as the bombers targeted government compounds and police offices.
The man accused of killing 77 people at a youth camp in Norway last summer has been declared sane by 2 court-appointed psychiatrists. Prosecutors previously said Anders Breivik was schizophrenic, but the report released Tuesday said he was not psychotic at the time of the attack, and even said there was a high risk of further violent actions. Breivik's trial is set to begin April 16th.
And Peruvian officials are hopeful that 9 miners trapped underground since Thursday could be free by as early as Tuesday night. The miners have been getting oxygen, food, and water through a tube. Officials say it's still not clear what happened to initiate the collapse.
And it was a scary morning for a homeowner in California Tuesday. A bear wandered into their backyard, likely on the search for food. Wildlife authorities had to tranquilize the animal for neighbors' safety. Officials say it was likely the same bear that broke into a garage last month and stole a pack of frozen meatballs.
And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into Wednesday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Find out why the UI is changing its policy on video surveillance on campus.
Plus, after a massive case of credit card fraud nationwide, find out what the UI Community Credit Union is doing to help protect students.
That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check us out at the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.